Ladies, gentlemen, and anyone who's taken a trip in a Johnny Cab, welcome to the Wednesday Night Joke Net here on the 146715 repeater, where we hope you enjoy the ride. I am KE8PVL, your net control for the evening. My name is Nemo, November Echo Mike Oscar, and I am located in Denmark Township. Before I go any further, is there anyone that needs this repeater for emergency or priority traffic? Alright, nothing heard. If anybody does need the repeater for emergency or priority traffic, please break in at any time with break engine call sign. We'll gladly concede the repeater for the duration of the emergency. Again, this is the Wednesday Night Joke Net here on 146715. This is a directed net and all traffic should go through net control. Everyone with a valid amateur radio license is encouraged to participate. This net meets every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. on this repeater. You can get to this repeater via Echolink, and the Echolink note for that is N8CT-L. Please treat the repeater like it's got a 2-minute timeout and allow for clean breaks between transmissions. Other than that, I think we're going to be good to go. Let me just say I would be remiss without mentioning this repeater is owned and operated by the Ashtabula County Amateur Radio Club. We appreciate them letting us use this repeater every Wednesday night here at 8 p.m. for the purposes of this net. So, let's just jump right into it. We'll go down the list of regular check-ins and we'll see who else here tonight. Starting off at the top of my list, I've got KC8LAR. Jeff, are you with us this evening?
KC8LAR, present.
All right, good to hear you out on the radio. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. How about Wayne, Alpha Charlie 8, Yankee Juliet?
Alpha Charlie 8, Yankee Juliet.
All right, got you locked into the net. Thank you for that. We'll reach out to Hiram, see if Joe's with us, W8KNO. I thought I heard something for a second there. Let's give him one more try there. W8KNO, are you with us, sir? All right, I think he's trying to get in there. I think there might be something going on. I'm hearing the squelch break for just a second, but then we're not getting nothing. We'll swing back to him and see if he comes back to us. In the meantime, let's keep going down the list. We'll try Victor, Echo 6, X-Ray Tango Charlie. Bruce, are you with us tonight, sir?
Yeah, I certainly am.
All right, very good. Good to hear you out on the radio this evening and piping through clean as a bell. All right, we'll go down to Ken, KE8YBN. All right, nothing heard there. He may be joining us a little later. The roads are clear tonight. He may have went to Bible class, so don't blame him there. How about we're going out to Dave, K8TIE?
King 8, Terrorite Amazing. It's about 8 degrees in Cleveland Heights, and it was cloudy most of the day. My sister got 8 inches or something like that down in Cincinnati over the weekend, but the roads are clear enough now that they've moved, that they've got traffic moving. And I also managed to get my email renewed at the very last minute. I had been calling them for a couple of days and not getting through. And today I got through, and the guy who answered me was actually in Buffalo, New York. Wow. Operating out of his home. So even though their mailing address is Cincinnati, he was operating out of Buffalo, New York. And there they get lots of snow. I remember pictures in National Geographic of entrances to houses on the second floor. KTA, back to that control. Good evening, Nemo.
All right, yeah, absolutely. I've been up that way several times, and I definitely have seen houses with doors on their second floors so the people could get out. They get pretty good blast of snow. And when you talk about the snow belts, it just the that wind coming out of the west, it just blows right across all the Great Lakes and lands right on top of them there. Definitely something that happens. We'll go out to Vito, Alpha Delta 8 Oscar India. Are you with us tonight, sir?
Alpha Delta 8 Oscar India is here with the XYL and my son for +2. And I think your total recall of the for me is failing you. Back to that.
All right, I'll put you down as +2 then if we get some participation out of that. And I'll mark you down for your guess on the mystery show. Good one there. How about I'm gonna scroll down just a little bit more on the list. How about Frank KE8 ZHH? Are you with us, sir? All right, nothing heard there. We'll reach out to Dan. I heard him come across the repeater a couple times. N8DRL.
Yeah, I'm here, Nemo. N8DRL.
All right, Dan. Glad to have you with us tonight, man. You're sounding good. I'm assuming you're on Echolink. That's okay. At least you're getting in, and good to hear you, man. I think that rounds out the list as I have it. Is there anybody else that would like to check in, or anybody I might have missed? Please call KE8PVL.
Hello there, Net Control. This is KE8 QWG.
KE8 JWG, right? Juliet Whiskey Golf, correct?
Kilo Echo 8, Quebec Whiskey Golf. This is Tom here.
Tom, good to hear you. Glad you're back in town. Hoping everything went well with your contract trip there. We'll get to you in just a minute. Anybody else want to check in? Please call.
Hey, DL.
Alpha 8 Delta Lima. Drew, I got you on the list. Thank you, sir, for checking in tonight. Anybody else?
W8KNO, did I get the repeater?
W8KNO, we got you in there. Thank you, Joe, for reaching out all the way up here. Appreciate that. Anybody else? KE8YQL. Chris, thank you for joining us tonight. I got you in there. KE8YQL. That's about how fast I scribble. Thank you for joining us. Got you locked into the net. Anybody else? All right, nothing heard. We'll lock that list in as I got it here. Thank you guys for joining us tonight. I appreciate each and every one of you getting in there. A couple of voices we haven't heard in a little while. Got a lot to talk about this evening, so let's just jump right into it. We'll start with the joke. And we're sticking to a theme tonight. So tonight's joke is what's an astronaut's favorite snack? This week's joke, what is an astronaut's favorite snack? And we'll go with Oh, we're gonna start with somebody we haven't heard from in a while. We'll put him right on the hot seat. Sorry to do that to you, Tom, but we're gonna do that to you. KE8 QWG Queen Whiskey Golf. Tom, what's an astronaut's favorite snack?
Well, if I was an astronaut, I think I'd want a Mars bar.
All right, you got a Mars bar in hand. I don't blame you there. That's actually a good one. We'll go to keep going. We'll go down the list. We'll go to Drew, Alpha Alpha 8 Delta Lima. Thanks for joining us tonight. What's an astronaut's favorite snack?
I'm going to have to go with Uranus. Alpha Alpha 8 Delta Lima back to that control.
All right, I guess the way however you phrase that, it might not. Okay, we'll take that. I don't know if that's radio friendly. Maybe if it is, it's the spice. That's what you're referring to, I'm sure. All right, how about Drew? I'm sorry. How about Joe W8KNO? What is an astronaut's favorite snack?
I believe his favorite snack is the moon pie.
All right, a moon pie. I didn't think of that one. That's a good one there. We'll put that on the list. How about Chris, KE8YQL? What's an astronaut's favorite snack? K8YQL. Chris, are you still with us?
Good afternoon, everybody on the net there. Moon pie was also my guess there. Moon pie, K8YQL.
All right, we got 2 for the moon pies and 1 for the Mars bar, and we'll keep on going down the list here. We'll go with that swings us back up to the top. Jeff, KC8LAR, what is an astronaut's favorite snack?
Good evening, Nemo, and everyone else on the net. Well, yeah, I like candy bars too. So, but if I were an astronaut, mine would be a Milky Way. KC8LAR, back to that control.
All right, we got 1 for Milky Way and some Mars bars and some moon pies, and we'll see what Wayne's got to offer. Alpha Charlie 8 Yankee Juliet. What's an astronaut's favorite snack?
Jeff stole my thunder there. I was going to say Milky Way as well.
It's okay to ride that wave. No problems, man. Take it away with that. We'll put you down as Milky Way. All right. And we'll go up to our good friends across the northern pond, as it were. Victor Echo 6, X-Ray Tango Charlie. Bruce, good to have you with us tonight, sir. What is an astronaut's favorite snack?
I would say rockets, because that's what they really get into orbit with is rockets. I love those candies. They're just so good. I start on one and I just have to keep on eating and eating.
Man, I didn't think of how many great answers there would be tonight. When I had put this joke on the list, I definitely am a little surprised about that. Taken aback, no stumpers. We'll keep on going. How about it, Dave, K8TIE? What's an astronaut's favorite snack?
I'm going to go with one that I think was actually official. Tang was sent into space. KTI, back to net control. By the way, for a moment you dropped out. Sound level.
All right, I'll try and make sure I keep my thumb on the little button here. That always helps. And yeah, Tang was definitely, it was an official astronaut drink for a good while there. We'll keep on going. We'll go down. We've got, let's see, we can pull 3 in a row out of this one. Alpha 8 Delta Lima. Vito, and your +2. What's an astronaut's favorite snack?
All right, Alpha Delta 8, Oscar India here. The XYLs was piling on with the Mars bar. My son's going to answer for his. Cosmic Brownie. Cosmic Brownie is what he said, in case you didn't hear. And mine is cheese, since the moon is made of cheese. Back to that.
All right, very good. Three great answers, and there's a good one out there that I'm surprised I haven't heard yet, but I'm going to wait until my answer. But we'll keep on going. We'll go down the list. I think we're going to go down to Dan next. N8DRL. What's an astronaut's favorite snack?
Well, Jeff stole my answer. I was going to say Milky Way.
All right, very good. We'll put you down for Milky Way. That's a whole bunch of people voting on that one. Before we get into the actual answer, though, that rounds out the list as I have it. Is there anybody else that would like to join us? This is KE8PVL and the Wednesday Night Joke Net. Please call to check into the net.
KE8YVN. Check it in.
K8YBN. Ken, I got you in the list. Thank you for joining us tonight, sir. I'll get right to you in just a second. Anybody else want to check in? Please call. All right, Ken, you joined us just in time to check out the joke round, and tonight's joke is what's an astronaut's favorite snack? So KE8YBN, take it away.
Yeah, it's a thing called Rocket Road, but you got to be in order for that. So let's go with the Sky Bar. Yeah, you're shooting for Sky Bar. Shoot for the stars. Take it back to the net.
All right, we'll take a Sky Bar. That's a good one too. How about one more call out to anybody else who wants to check into the net? Please call KE8PVL. All right, nothing heard there, so we'll get into the answer tonight. And the one I'm surprised I didn't hear tonight, which was when I read this joke, I thought this was my first thought was Pop Rocks. I thought those were pretty cool, Pop Rocks. But tonight's joke, what is an astronaut's favorite snack? It is indeed the official answer, a Milky Way. What is astronaut's favorite snack? A Milky Way. So there we go. That's the official answer. But I think everybody's answer was great tonight. Thank you all for participating. Appreciate that. Oh, man. I think we'll go ahead and then we'll get into, I got a bunch of stuff to go over a little bit here and there. I guess we'll go ahead and do the announcements, and then we'll just go ahead and get into why everybody's really here. With all the big events over, I only got two really. The Aries District 10 Training Net for Ashtabula County Emergency Services is every Monday night on this repeater, the 146715. Negative offset, PL tone of 141.3, and of course, Echolink node of N8CT-L. Check them out every Monday night at 8 p.m. They could always use a hand. I was jumped on there this Monday, finally got a chance to get in there and say hello to everybody. Also, the Ashtabula County Amateur Radio Club's weekly net is every Thursday at 8 p.m. That is also a good group of folks that could use some people jumping on their net. So please feel free to go over there and give them a check out too. If you have a net announcement or a general announcement that you'd like relayed on the net, please feel free to drop me a line. Any way you can figure out how to get in touch with me is fine. Generally speaking, the Wednesday Night Joke Net Facebook page is probably the best way to do it, and I'll try and get you on the list and make sure that we get that taken care of for you. All right, that's it. That's all the announcements I got. So I guess we'll get into why everybody's really here tonight. So let's start with we'll start with Tom, KE8QWG. Tom, hope everything went well for you on your trip out of town there. You've been gone for a couple months. Glad to hear you back on the net, and glad to know you're back in town. Take it away.
Yeah, hello there, Net. Hey, it's been quite a good time. I've been down working in South Carolina, and I just got back in town here about a week ago. And so I'll be back in town for a week or two, and then I'll probably head back out there saying they want me in New Jersey. So you know how that is. Until I retire, I guess I play this game. But it was kind of nice. I came home to some really nice, cool weather here. So quite a difference. But they're getting a lot of cold weather down there, a lot of ice and such. So it's good to hear everybody back there. So that's about it. So back to the net.
All right. Well, we're glad you're around, and man, we do miss you being here on a regular basis. Hopefully things will work out for you, and you can actually hang out for a little while. Miss you at the meetings and everything. So hopefully we'll get an actual chance to see you in person for a bit. We'll go down to Drew, Alpha 8, Delta Lima. Good to have you with us tonight, my friend. We've been missing you on the net as well. Hope everything's going good for you.
Yeah, it's been a while, Matt. I'm glad to hear everybody's voice. Had the holidays, which kept me real busy with the kids home, and then I had to take my daughter to France where she's studying for the semester. So that was pretty cool. And then came back to this storm. I did field day here from home this year. I was going to put up a tent. I have a tent that I've left up since like hunting season. I have a stove in it and stuff, so it's pretty cool. And I was going to do it out there as an outdoor. But with the weather and such, it was way too cold, so I just did it as a 1H. But I did pretty well. And I finally got FT8 working again on my computer. I couldn't get it to work for the longest time, and finally just worked it out with ChatGPT, and it got me working. It gave me a bunch of ideas to try, and I got back on. So turns out I think the main thing was that I had like a wireless mouse or something that was jacking up my COM port. So. But I'm glad to be back on that, having fun with it. Hopefully I'll be checking into the net more now that I'm a little bit not so busy. Back to net control, Alpha 8, Delta Lima.
Well, we've definitely been missing you out there, and we understand why everybody didn't make it, and we totally get it. Well, we definitely could have used you as an operator on Winter Field Day there. Glad to hear you did some good, and hopefully your numbers came out right. All right, we'll go down to Joe, W8KNO, our good friend out in Hiram. What do you got for the group tonight, sir?
Good evening, everyone. I hope you all stay warm. And my problem I had when I started up was my phone was turned off. I don't know how I turned it off, but I got it off, and I zipped over to the wire net and tried to hit their repeater, and it didn't work there either. So then I got out the book and found out what I had to do, and I got it done, and I'm glad to be here. And as I said before, stay warm. W8KNO.
Yeah, sometimes you just randomly push a button on that radio or any radio, and all of a sudden you're back to square one. I understand that. All right, we'll go down to Chris, also somebody we haven't heard from for a while on the net, K8YQL. Good to have you on the net tonight, my friend, and how's things going with you?
Kilo Echo 8, Yankee Queen Lima. Good afternoon, everybody. Good evening. Glad to be on the net. Glad to be back on the radio lately. Like everybody else, it seems, I'm sure. I was busy with the holidays and just different things going on around here and trying to keep up with the snow and keep warm. It's actually been really cold in the shack, so I haven't been playing as much radio because of that. And otherwise, things are well, I guess. Yeah. Hopefully get some HF radio going sometime in the future here. I haven't been on HF too much, but yeah. KE8YQL, guess that's all I got. We'll pass it back to net control.
All right, very good. Well, I know we missed you out having you out at Winter Field Day and having you operate with us, but I know how things went and with the travel advisories and everything. I'm glad we got the group that we got there, and I'm glad everybody else still got to participate. But we'll see you hopefully at a meeting soon. Very good. How about Ken, KE8YBN? Thank you for joining us tonight, sir. What do you got for the group?
Where to start? Well, of course, being snow and the cold and stuff, and the heavy snow we got, neighbor down the road, a couple of doors down, he came with a snow blower. He did it up like 3-4 driveways. Sure appreciated that. And meanwhile, my computer, I don't know what it was, enough on a Trojan or something, a malware. It was called PC App Store. Nothing lit up. That's always on there. I try to go to settings. I try to go to anything else. Nothing would work. I wound up. I gave those to get into the reset. Had to reset the computer right back to square one in order to get rid of it. It took me all day and still not done. Still the keyboard won't work like it's supposed to. I'm on there for Echolink on a computer before. Hit the space bar, it's going to talk, to hit again to untalk, and that doesn't work at all. To hear it beeping and clicking, but it's not activated, so I've got to go in and see what's causing that now. So yeah, it's going to be some time to get this thing, all the bugs worked out, and see the thing back, load it back up again, all those passwords you got to remember. Thank goodness for the invention of ink, pens, and paper. With that, we'll send it back to net. Okay, YVN, back to net.
Well, I feel your pain on that. I've had to do that too for some folks here and there, and knock on wood, haven't had to do it for myself yet. But it's a big pain in the butt. Those ransomware guys, they suck. But the nature of the beast, so to speak. You know, if you want your computer secure, the best thing to do is never hook it to the internet. I guess is the way that works. But it is what it is, and I'm sorry for you. Hopefully you get that all worked out soon and you don't lose too much. How about Jeff, KC8LAR? Good to have you with us tonight, sir. What do you got for the group?
Not a whole lot, Nemo. Just trying to recover all our equipment from field day and make sure everything is put away and cleaned up and ready to go when I need it again. Other than that, not doing too much. Surprised I didn't hear Starburst in there. That was my plan B for the answer for the joke. Other than that, not too much going on here, so we'll pass it back to net control. This is KC8LAR.
Absolutely. I'm surprised we didn't hear that one too, man. The list just keeps growing with great answers, I'll tell you that. How about Wayne Alpha Charlie 8 Yankee Juliet?
Good evening, everybody. It's always good to be on the radio, playing some radio. And it's very delightful that I've heard some old friends on the net tonight, which makes me happy. Had a good time at Winter Field Day. A little cold. Still cold, but it's winter. It's what it is. Just been busy. I'm tired. It's been a long day. Back to net control. Alpha Charlie 8, Yankee Juliet.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, we had a good time at Winter Field Day. I'll get into that just a little bit in a minute. and this weather, I know we had negative 15 degrees on Saturday morning here, but you know, this is two years ago we had a really mild winter, so this is our once every like 10-year winter, which we get pretty regularly. People should be used to it by now. Yes, it's cold, but it's not so bad. This winter's not that bad. All right, we'll keep on going down the list. We'll go to Bruce, Victor Echo 6, X-Ray Tango Charlie. Thank you for joining us tonight, sir. What do you got for everybody?
Well, I think that a good snack for a pirate is Bounty. I love those Bounty bars and all the coconut in there. That's really good. Yeah, it's too bad. I was hoping to go shopping tomorrow with some seniors, but not many wanted to go, unfortunately. So the county has a limit of how few people can go before they say no way. So we just didn't have enough interest, and a couple of seniors clubs were trying to get something together, but a lot of people just are too apathetic, and they have either their own cars or they have relatives that come over and buy things for them. So I'm kind of disappointed. I mean, $20 shouldn't be a barrier to get on a bus and go 45-minute drive and shop for the morning and the afternoon. I'm really disgusted with those people. But unfortunately, I'm in the minority, and they're in the majority, so that's the way it goes.
Yeah, I'm assuming it's a bus from a community center to a place. I don't know exactly the reference there entirely. I hope your general public transportation buses don't cost that much.
No, it's a county bus that's for seniors and whatever. And unfortunately, like $20, I mean, you'd pay that much up here for gas to go all the way there and back. But some people, they just, you know, like if a person has health problems, I can understand that. You know, if they can't walk very well or whatever. But a lot of these seniors, they just don't care. And that's what frustrates me, because we lost one county bus already, and we could easily lose another with the tight times that are happening economically. They could just say, well, it's not worth it for just a few people to go shopping. So they might just sell the bus, and we'll be out of shopping trips and senior club excursions. So that's what I kind of worry about. I don't think it's the money as much as it's just people being, I guess, for lack of a better word, selfish, because they see no need for themselves to go, and they don't see any reason why they should spend $20 to go on a bus trip when they can drive 45 minutes each way to the city of Fort Saskatchewan for a shopping trip, a day-long trip. And we have lunch there too, so that's really something. It's a nice way to get out of the house and socialize with others, but I think a lot of people are just, all they see is that $20 figure. They don't see all the practicality of it.
You know, a $20 day trip, you know, someplace like Erie or somewhere along those lines, actually with a bunch of people who I could hang out with and had some stuff in common with, even if I didn't need a shopping trip and just wanted to do lunch, would probably be a good idea. And I think I would be into that as long as I got front door service out of it, for sure. Man, I get it though. If they don't do it, then the service is gone, and because the service, whoever's providing that, the county, they don't think that the service will be needed. So yeah, take advantage of what you can while you can, and hopefully people's attitudes change towards a lot of things. It seems like apathy is taking over in a lot of ways, and I get that. All right, we'll keep on going down the list. Dave, KATIE, Dad, good to have you with us tonight. Hope you had a chance to listen to some Field Day over the weekend anyway. And what do you got for the group?
Well, since I had been kind of worried mostly about renewing my email and things like that and not getting through, I was really directed to that. Although, of course, I always catch the trivia net in the morning because that is a fun net, and I caught your announcement for Hobby Hooligans, but I realized, it's just an announcement and it's coming up. So, and I think I haven't actually played all of the last one. So I've got a little bit of backlog of reading to do. But that being the case, I have been kind of keeping up with things a bit. Some of the interesting things going on. So I seem to also have some sort of problem here. I've been getting dropouts on the sound level, and I have to tap my touchpad a couple of times in order for it to come back. I thought initially it was happening over at you, because a couple of people started having very low sound level. So maybe this laptop, as much as I like it, is getting kind of beyond its limits. KTIE, back to net control.
Yeah, that's a possibility there. I would try an external speaker if you've got that possible capability, and or a set of headphones. That might work too. Wireless earbuds, some Bluetooth earbuds would probably help you out maybe with that. Just it could just be there could be a bunch of reasons for it too. Just bad connections, all that. That all affects it. That's for sure. Just a couple ideas to throw out there for you. We'll go down to Vito now. Alpha Delta 8 Oscar India +2. So we'll see if we can get everybody on the radio tonight over there. How's it going there, Vito?
88 OI here. Just here by myself right now. Son's downstairs going through the freezer looking for some ducks and some meat that he's got stored down there. And the X-File went to bed. She said goodnight to everybody. Hope you all are doing well. Had a great time over the weekend with the Field Day. And I think that group, Alpha Delta 8, Delta Lima, deserves a joke net mug just for his answer alone. It had everybody here laughing their butts off. Back to that.
All right, very good. We'll put the note in the log for that too. The special commendation there. Well, in the meantime, we'll go out to Dan, N8DRL. Good to have you with us tonight, sir. What do you got for everybody?
Not a whole lot going on here. I've been under the weather the last couple days. I've felt real good. Wish I could have been there for winter field day, but it was just too cold for either my leg being buried the way it is. Anyhow, I'm going to turn back in the control at 8-0.
All right, very good. Well, nobody blames you there, man. Negative 15-degree weather, and you got all that metal sticking out of your leg. You got an erector set steel cage wrapped around your leg there, dude. I wouldn't in no way to keep it warm. I wouldn't have gone out in that either. And I consider myself to be pretty rugged kind of person to do that kind of stuff, and I wouldn't want to do it. Freeze your leg right off, man. Pretty quick too, I would think. All right, this is K8PVL. Before we get into tonight's discussion round, is there anybody else that would like to check in? Please call.
KE8VVO.
KE8ZVO. Ruth Ann, we got you in the door. Thank you for joining us tonight. Anybody else? All right, perfect. We'll shuffle the list around a little bit. K8ZVO, tonight's joke, what is an astronaut's favorite snack? And we've already burned through the comment round, so we'll be talking a little bit about some of the other stuff going on in the world. So why don't you take it away?
I grew up knowing that they liked Tang, orange juice, fake orange juice, but I wouldn't know the answer to the clue. I meant to check in on time, and I said, I just do one more thing, and then it's a half hour later. So sorry about that. Back to you, KE8CVO.
Not at all. Actually, Tang was the official drink for a long time, and that was, I think I don't know if it's still sent up with the astronauts on a regular. But I know for many years, Tang was the official astronaut drink up in space because it was the easiest thing. I think it was actually made for that. I believe. I could be wrong, but man, it wasn't horrible. I'll admit it. It wasn't horrible. I drank it. Maybe not as often as could, but it was easy to throw a Ziploc baggie in your pouch and take it out on a trail hike, and all you needed was a little bit of water out of your canteen, and it was good to go. So many good uses for it. Absolutely. All right, very good. One more call out to anybody who might want to check in. Please call KE8PVL. All right, nothing heard. So I got a couple things we can talk about this evening, and we probably should. I think there's some cool stuff going on, and today is a good day to talk about a little bit of it and go over a little bit of history. But before I get into that, let me just say that Amigos Radio Club Ashtabula, we did go out to Winter Field Day at our normal stomping grounds, the Jefferson Conservation Club over there, and 6 or 7 of us went there and kind of stayed full time. I think we did better than we've ever done before in the past. I think all the experimenting and research that we've been doing with radio transmitting has paid off over the summer. I believe we hit 455 contacts, with like over 75 being digital contacts, and we operated 3 stations simultaneously, even with digital modes and voice modes operating on the same frequencies without any issues at all, pretty much. Like literally almost zero. So good job to the guys and the committee that put it together and made sure that all the testing got done so that we could operate correctly. And I think this year's points, I know it's not supposed to be points, but this year's points are going to be a personal best for the club. So thank you everybody that came out and worked on that, and for everybody that didn't make it, no hard feelings at all, man. The weather was rough. I watched a full size 3/4 ton pickup have a hard time getting in and out of the driveway to the facility that we were at. And negative 15-degree weather outside is tough to work in, that's for sure. So I get it. Everybody gets it. So everybody understands. One thing we did miss a lot, and I'm sure we could talk about that just a little bit. It wasn't a field day without waffles. We were missing the waffles, but hopefully one of us will pick that torch up at some point and start bringing waffles. Ruth Ann, we missed the waffles. I'll just put that out there right there. That was always a good thing. But we did have a good amount of food, and everything was good. Wouldn't have been a Amigos Radio Club Ashtabula event without good food there. So, hey, that's what that is. That's all I got on that. That saying that, thank you. And there was some folks I didn't hear on the radio over the weekend, but that's okay too. All right. So today is actually, I believe it's today. Yes, today is actually an anniversary for the 1986 Space Shuttle Challenger disaster. 73 seconds after liftoff, an O-ring seal failure in the solid booster caused that sucker to, well, it burst into flames, and there were obviously no survivors, and all 7 astronauts on the crew were lost, including, like, I believe it was the first teacher to go to space, or tried to go to space anyway. I remember watching that when I was a kid. That was actually live on TV. They were showing it live in the classroom on the television as it was happening, and I remember our teacher in the class having a hard time kind of explaining that to the kids and making that happen. There was apparently management and communication failures at NASA, which led to a whole bunch of fleet overhauls with the shuttle missions. And then of course we did have another one after that in 2003 with the Columbia. So, I mean, still though, in the big picture, we've had over 135 flights, space shuttle flights, and only 2 of them have turned into something disastrous, which really goes a long way. I'm actually really sad that the shuttle program got canned during the Obama years, because I think that was an important part of stuff that we do as a human race. But so a little bit of memory there with the Challenger disaster. I'm sure there's plenty of stuff all over the internet to look that up and how that happened. It definitely changed the thoughts in people's heads at the time of how the space shuttle mission should have been dealt with. But we've come a long way since then, and it looks like, we went from tin cans and duct tape, sending people to the moon, and literally aluminum garbage cans and duct tape, to with the most primitive computer systems in the world, to much more advanced systems with the space shuttle setups. And now it looks like we're getting ready to do it again. We have the Artemis 2 mission sitting on the launch pad waiting for the clearance date. And the plan there is to send astronauts up to the moon again, which will be like the first real moon mission we've had in a long time. That's scheduled for February 6th, which isn't that far away. That's the first possible launch date, and they may push it back to the middle of the month, depending on weather. But I'm excited to know that we're heading back up there again. Maybe we can fill the C and the H in that was left there. Oh wait, that's something else entirely. Anyway, bring back a couple of slices of cheese with the astronauts, and actually do something useful up there other than just use it for moon bounce. So those are my thoughts on the discussion topics for this evening, and what I've got. We'll just we'll start right back where we were. We'll go back to Tom, KE8QWG, Challenger disaster and upcoming new missions to the moon. What are your thoughts, sir?
Well, I guess anytime you develop stuff, there's got to be attention to detail. And so, like most companies out there, they're looking for the cheapest way to do everything. Sometimes it's the attention to detail that really matters, and whether it's that one or some of the other ones, but we all learn from experience, and I think there's been a lot of learning that's going on. So I think that's taught them a good lesson. However, anytime you do anything, there's always a manufacturing issue, the material used issue, the installation, lubrication. There's a lot of stuff that can go wrong, but since we've only had one really bad one, I think we've learned a lot as we go through life, and so I think we're doing pretty good. So hopefully everything we're doing will lead us to success. That's about all I got. Back to Nat.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, we've come a long way from the launching guys up into space with a tin can and duct tape, because that's literally what the first space missions, the first moon missions were. And now we've got things a little more together. I think as we move forward, things are going to just get better and better. Drew, Alpha 8, Delta Lima Space Shuttle, Columbia Space Shuttle Challenger, and we've got a new rocket sitting on the launch pad. What are your thoughts?
Well, I definitely remember the space shuttle blowing up. That was a pretty big event in all, I think, of Gen X's lives. I think I was in about 9th grade at the time. I remember we were watching it in the cafeteria, and they'd roll out the TV with the big rack. They'd have everything on with the VCRs and stuff, and so yeah, that was a heck of a day. And then we just went right back to class. You see, these days, when one kid gets a cold and is out for a couple of days, they bring in grief counselors. Well, I don't know if grief counselors weren't a thing back then, but they certainly didn't. I mean, I guess you'd have needed them for everybody, but it was a pretty traumatizing event, I guess. I mean, they'd hyped it for quite a while before that, and there was a lot of launches that we didn't watch, but this one was because they had a teacher and stuff. So yeah, it was a pretty big thing. Yeah, and I hope we go to the moon. That would be cool if we could do that.
All right, Roger that. Yeah, I think there's a lot of lost resources, things that we could do on the moon that we haven't been doing for one reason or another, and I think it's time people started, because I think that would make things better overall. Joe W8KNO, how you doing out there in Hiram, sir? What are your thoughts? Space Shuttle Challenger, and we got a new rocket on the launch pad. What are your thoughts?
Good luck to them.
right, Joe. What a great antidote there. Appreciate you jumping in there with that. And yeah, I hope the new astronauts heading up there do a good job, and there's some good luck with it. I know you're going to probably head over to your other net, so wishing you 7-3. Go ahead, secure your station at your convenience, sir. And thank you for joining us tonight. How about Chris, K8YQL? What are your thoughts? Challenger, disaster, and we've got a new moon mission sitting on the launch pad.
K8YQL here. Let's see, man. I'm probably one of the youngest guys in our group here, so I don't have a whole lot of, I guess, like first-hand experience with like the previous moon mission, right? But I'm excited to see what it has in store. And I mean, technology's come such a long way in the last few years, and yeah, I think that there's leaps and bounds to be made here in the next couple of years with science and on multiple fronts, of course. So, yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens, man. It's definitely exciting. KEAYQL, back to net control.
Yeah, copy that. With the technology jump, I kind of jokingly say, but it's also true, sort of. Right now most people are running around with more computing power in the palm of their hand than all of mission control and the moon mission rocket ships combined. One person has that in the palm of their hand now, compared to like all of NASA back when those missions were first going on. And I don't have a whole. I was young when those were getting phased out, but I guess I'm not entirely joking, but I am when I say tin cans and duct tape. But obviously the space shuttles are more than that, and I've definitely seen one close up once, and held some burned up fire shield plates in my hand and all that stuff. So I'm hoping the new moon missions go well myself. How about it, Ken, K8YBN? Thank you for joining us tonight, sir. We've got the Challenger disaster anniversary today, and simultaneously we've got a new moon mission sitting on the launch pad. What are your thoughts?
A lot of progress has gone into a lot of technology. Improvements quite a bit. I guess it'd be pretty good if, as long as they don't name the Titanic, it should be okay. The thing about too is all those satellites got spin around the world. They got to get weeded through that all the space stuff up there floating around, and then that's a got to reckon all those debris and other space satellites. Be a heck of a chain reaction going on up there. It'd be a big mess. But I'm sure they got things all figured out by now, and who does what, and what does what, and follow 3M tape and stuff. Yeah, that'll be fine. Yeah, back to that. KYVN. Back to that.
All right. Wouldn't it be ironic if, and I agree with you, there's a ton of space junk up there, and I just think it would be ironic if they resurrected the old Star Wars programs from the Reagan era and just used them to get rid of the space junk there so that people could actually get up into space a little easier than they're doing now. And I'd be willing to bet that's something that's going to happen. How about it, KE8ZBO, Ruth Ann? Thank you for joining us tonight. Challenger disaster anniversary today, and we've got another moon mission sitting on the launch pad. What are your thoughts?
Well, KE8ZBO here. I think a new mission is always exciting. I hope that it goes very well. And I was a young mother when Challenger exploded, and I remember being in my kitchen doing dishes and making some kind of food, and just stopping to go watch what had happened, because that was just unbelievably sad. Um, I remember hearing about the 3 men who died on the launch pad early on. Was that Apollo 10? I forget which one. But anyway, also enjoyed that movie Apollo 13, where they recounted the actual details of what happened on that one. That was a lot of fun. So back to you, KEACZO.
Absolutely, there have been a lot of great movies and folklore that have come out of the NASA and space projects. I believe A Few Good Men was one of those, and I watched that one a couple times. I really liked that one. How about it, Jeff? KC8LAR, we've got the anniversary of the Challenger disaster today. Sorry, forgive me. If I was a frog, I'd have had a human in my throat. Anniversary of the Challenger disaster today, and we got another mission, moon mission, sitting on the launch pad. Take it away, Jeff, KC8LAR.
Oh, thank you, Emo. I think the one Ruth Ann was thinking about was the Mercury rocket, Lost 3. That was the one they stopped using pure oxygen in after that one burned up 3 astronauts on the pad. That was unfortunate. And I think our next big one was Challenger, and then Columbia, if I remember correctly. And I remember hearing an interview one time that everything that NASA does is based on a budget of what it would cost to do it and what it would cost in payload versus the chances of something happening. And it's kind of hindsight being 2020. Mercury was the first one where they changed things. Unfortunately, with the shuttle that went down, I remember hearing that when they found the command module, the end of the shuttle, that they had already started triage when it hit the water. So that tells me that if they had put the explosive bolts in to blow that clear and put the parachute on it, like they had planned on doing with Enterprise, the first one, and all the other ones on before the budget guys got a hold of it, that maybe that would have been avoided. Maybe it wouldn't have, but cost versus budget. And the same thing when I think it was Columbia came in with the tiles. They've been thinking about putting the tile kit on that thing for 20 years and never made it to it. But after that, they all had tile kits on it and made it a point to inspect and repair. So lessons learned. I know everybody kind of knows the risk. Break for time. I guess everybody who's going up kind of knows the risk and kind of accepts it, but personal feeling is lives aren't cheap, and especially those with the courage to do what they do. So hopefully with Artemis sitting on the pad, they were able to play whack-a-mole with the bean counters, and they've got most of the practical safety measures in place, and we wish them well when they finally decide to light the rocket. So with that, I guess we'll turn it over to the next one, and I'm going to secure my station, and we'll back to net control. This is KC8LAR.
All right, Jeff, Roger on the securing your station. Thank you for joining us tonight and for your comments. Appreciate them. This is KE8PBL with the Wednesday Night JokeNet, and we're going to keep on going down the list. We'll go to Wayne, Alpha Charlie 8, Yankee Juliet. Anniversary of the Challenger disaster today, sir, and we've got a new moon mission sitting on the launch pad. What are your thoughts?
I remember that the Challenger like it was yesterday. It was a very sad day. I'm very excited about the moon mission, though. Maybe, because I can't remember what it was. For like every dollar we've spent on space, it's returned $3.78 back or something. I don't remember the exact math, but it's something. It's well worth the investment, just the returns you have on everything. That's about it. Back to net control. Alpha Charlie 8, Yankee Juliet.
All right, very good, and I appreciate that. And and maybe this is something that that my dad could comment on a little bit further down the road when we get down to him. I've been a big fan of the space program for a long time. I was very sad when Obama cut it back to whatever it was, and even when Bush did it too, I was very upset about that. The cuts to the space program that have happened. When you talk about return on investment, if it's only been $3, that's horrible return if I could say so, because we have this asteroid belt out there, and every mineral and element that we know about exists in that asteroid belt, and we could go get one and bring it back here. And as long as we just don't crash it into the planet, the resources are there. When we start talking about post resource limited environments, we start talking about Star Trek, all that. It's the same thing with like when people talk about aliens, and there's no way aliens are coming here for our water, because if they have the technology to come here for our water or our air, they could just make it, because they've already gotten that stuff. They've already gotten past that problem. So we should just be getting those asteroids and bringing them back here, and then gold would be worthless, steel would be worthless. We would be, it might have to change our economy a little bit, but at least those things, we would have them. That's my thought on it, and it would make it so that we could just go and do the things out in space that we need to do, provided we survive the radiation, of course, and all the conspiracy theorists are wrong. Anyway, we'll keep on going down the list. We'll go to Bruce, Victor Echo 6, X-Ray Tango Charlie. How about it, sir? Do you remember the Challenger disaster? And now NASA's got a new rocket sitting on the launch pad, ready to go to the moon.
Well, I'm glad that NASA is actually getting their act together. China has had their eye on the moon for a long time, and they want to set up bases there and claim it as theirs and whatever. And as for the Challenger and the other disaster there, Columbia, yeah, I remember those happening back in '87, and I thought it was 2001, but I guess it was 2003. Anyway, I saw actually on YouTube some documentaries on those, and the consensus was that it was human error and a lot of egos that got in the way, that they wanted to get that Challenger up there, and they weren't listening to the critics that were saying the O-rings get stiff and crack in the cold, and there's a lot of bad things that happened that added up to that big disaster. That's my theory too, is that these big disasters always happen because of people wanting things done their way instead of listening, and whatever, like Chernobyl, they were fiddling around with the reactor to see how low it could go before the engines, the backup diesel engines kicked in, and that caused the chain reaction. And there was argon gas that gathered in the chambers there and caused it to explode. And then, of course, there was 3 Mile Island and a few other things that people were just fiddling around with instead of just letting it run normally. normally. So that's my take on it. Back to Nat.
Yeah, I mean, there's some testing. I get that, and some science behind stuff that you want to kind of make. I think with every breakthrough, there's just, you know, there's going to be the unknown surrounding it. But if you know it's going to work the way you want it to, and you're confident in your fail safes, so to speak, then just let it go, let it do its thing. I guess. I don't know. We'll keep on going down the list here. We'll go down to K8TIE. Dad, good to have you with us tonight. You've got some experience on some of this topics, but Space Shuttle Columbia, and we've got a new moon mission sitting on the launch pad. What are your thoughts?
Yes, I did go through both of those, and yeah, I mean, the one thing that got me was the quote from Morton Thiokol, which was overseeing a lot of the upper level, going back to the president. And he basically said, we cannot guarantee the success of the mission. And I just wonder whether or not maybe the upper people would have been more likely to have listened had he thrown in a bunch of criticisms and vile language, you know, a couple of F-bombs and stuff like that. You want to see this thing on national TV and, you know, just kind of really draw it out. Would maybe that person have listened had there not been this technically polite language? I just wonder. Break for time? So, now, on the new moon mission, I'm wondering if the one that is being planned is to go to establish a base on the far side of the moon. I thought I had heard the Chinese had already done that, but they can't claim the whole moon. But we would have to have a base up there on that side of the moon too, facing away from Earth, and seeing all the things that come at the moon. So, because the other side of the moon has got lots more craters and stuff like that, which means it's a lot more iffy picking a good landing spot. But it is a different piece in an area in that you are looking out at the rest of the universe and stuff. So that is one of my queries. Break for time, and then one more comment. Problem that it was a plutonium reactor. All the ones in the U.S. are light water or heavy water reactors. If you use coolants, the reaction itself shuts down. It may get hot and go through, burn through the bottom of the house and the reactor core and stuff, but the reaction itself is shut down because it relies on the water to slow the neutrons that are released out of the fission and slow them enough that they can be captured again by another atom So that's inherently safe compared to the plutonium, which does not require a moderator. And that's what took off in Chernobyl, is that basically caught fire and continued to react. And since it had no water and didn't even require water, the reaction kept going too. And that's why that's sort of a mess. But there have been some interesting surveys on the life, all the wildlife that has survived that. And despite the radiation, all kinds of beavers and deer and everything else survives in that horrid radioactive environment. So there's a number of people trying to do research on how all that survival, despite large mutation rates and stuff like that, survives. So those are my kind of more thoughts on that, because there's just so much to take and cover. KTIE, back to net control.
All right, very good. Yeah, there's a lot to that. My understanding is, to answer the one question for you, is the Artemis 2 mission, this current mission to the moon, is strictly orbital. They're not dropping down and landing. I believe it is, from my understanding, orbital so that they can choose a landing site, get good recon and visual recon of the far side, so that they can pick a landing site for the Artemis 3 mission. Obviously, this is the Artemis 2 mission, and so the next one that goes up there, which is scheduled for maybe another 2 years out or so, is actually going to be the one where they drop and land, which it would follow the progress that we had before with the moon missions, and I get that. As far as the reactor stuff with the Chernobyl environment and critters living through it and all that, there is a specific group of permacultural horticulturalists, and they focus on, and I don't know who they are off the top of my head, I don't have that information, but they focus on reconditioning the land and the area after radioactive contamination like that, using different types of fungus and plant growth and things along those lines. I'm not 100% familiar with it, but I know they have had some really good results making things like that happen. So you might get some weird stuff out of the critters, like larger earthworms or Godzilla, but I think there is a recovery process for those areas. All right, either way, we're going to move down to Vito, Alpha Delta 8 Oscar India. Vito, good to have you with us tonight again. We've got the Challenger disaster, and we've got another moon mission sitting on the launch pad. What are your thoughts, sir?
I hear. That I think it's pretty cool. And first, I thought I heard somebody say the Mercury was the rocket that blew up that killed the 3 astronauts. It was actually Apollo 1. That was actually 59 years ago yesterday. And then the Artemis and I think it's Orion spacecraft is going to be doing, I think, 2 laps around the Earth and then 1 lap around the Moon. And I want to say it's a 10-day, it's either 4 or 10-day mission. I can't remember. I'm excited about it, though. I was 9 years old in a few months when Challenger blew up. Remember, I was outside at recess at St. Francis in Mayfield, and came back in and heard about it. Didn't get to see it. Probably better being not seeing it when I was that young, and was fascinated about the and astronauts and stuff. So, so I'm excited about it. And they got scheduled for, I think it's June of 27 is an unmanned lunar landing, and September of 28 is when they're scheduled to do a manned moon landing to get back on the moon. Good topic. Back to net.
Yeah, Roger. That other moon landing, the other Artemis 3, I believe, which is what you're referring to, is actually a payload mission, and that one is there to drop supplies for the manned mission, and so that there's stuff there for them when they get there already. So it looks like the moon is going to be well, maybe we'll get some Limburger out of that, hopefully, and some other stuff too. I'm sure there's something else up there. The joke, it wasn't made out of cheese, so we never went back. There's no excuse. All right, we'll keep on going. We got Dan rounding out the list tonight. N8DRL, what are your thoughts, sir? We've got the Challenger disaster anniversary today, and the next manned moon mission sitting on the launch pad. N8DRL, are you still with us? Well, with any luck, he fell asleep in his easy chair. This is KE8PBL with the Wednesday Night Joke Net. Is there anybody else that would like to recheck, or anybody that would like to check in? Please call. All right, nothing heard. I'm going to go ahead and put a bow on it tonight. Thank you, everybody, for being here with us this evening. Appreciate you hanging out for a little bit of an extra long one, but I did promise a good discussion topic tonight, and this seemed to jump right up to the top of the list. All right, I'd also like to thank everybody from the Ashtabula County Amateur Radio Club and the people who maintain the repeater over there for making this repeater available to us every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. for the purposes of having this and that. Thank you, everybody who is currently retired and active in service to this country. I appreciate your sacrifices, and I will not forget it. This is KE8PBL. I'm going to go ahead and return the repeater back over to normal amateur radio use, whatever that might be. Be good to each other, everybody. KE8PBL is clear.